I made a teeny tiny little accordion book using some of my joy cards that I'd created for our patrons at Patreon. That's patreon.com/BridgetSgrove, and I wanted to briefly show how they can be folded into a little book. And I had said this before, shared this before, and I couldn't quite get them to line up correctly, and then I realized it's because I wasn't doing a multiple of 2, and that was why they weren't working to fold. So for a little accordion book, you need something. For the joy cards, I just cut them apart into strips, and the center one does have a little bit more space, which will make kind of a little jog in your book, and basically I'm just okay with that instead of having it be precisely even, and that's just because of how I had to minimize or reduce the size of the cards after they were made. So if that bothers you, it's just one of those it's just one of those kinds of little things. But when you have so you have your strip cut out, and it can be 4, it can be 6, it can be 8, and you will fold them. I don't have one to show you that's already folded, except it's already in the book, but you fold it accordion style. The first one has to be folded in, and then you keep going. I guess I am going to keep going. I was actually just going to demo, but here we are. And apparently I can actually do this one-handed, which I did not know. Not super great. So if you were doing it with 2 hands, yours would be lined up a little nicer, and you'd have this little square left behind like this, right? And then you'll do the next strip, but for the next strip, you fold the last square in instead. And then continue. Apparently I was better at folding one-handed the other direction. That's funny. Bodies and brains are funny. And I love them. Okay. So you have 2 little accordions, and then basically you will glue those 2 sides together to make a text block. So you'll glue the 2 blank, you've got 2 blank ends now, and you'll glue those 2 together to make your little block of text. And theoretically you can continue going for like a long time, as long as you wanted to. So you could do the next strip, you could do the next strip, and you can make a really long, fat little book. I just did 2 strips for the demo one that I had, and got 2 little chunks. And then if you have a cover page, you can be a lot fancier with this, but it's just a teeny tiny little book, so I'm not that fancy with it. And so I tend to fold the cover around my pages. I fold the cover around my pages. This is not quite cut to size because it's just a little scrap that I have. And then you make kind of a little spine by creasing the page, creasing one part of the cover in, and then leaving a gap and creasing the other side in. So you end up with, a little spine like that. And then if you have extra, you just trim it off later. So don't worry too much about the sizing or the, don't worry too much about it. Just if you're cutting this piece to shape, make sure and I often cut it by just laying what I'm cutting around it instead of measuring or making it fancy. I just lay it there, cut around it, but always leave extra margin for yourself. That's good advice for life as well. Leave an extra margin for yourself, and then trim off anything extra that you don't want. So this was just a scrap. It wasn't actually a demo. I didn't actually intend to make this whole video into a demo. I was just going to show you the little accordion book that I had made, but suddenly I realized I could make it into a little demo and have that to offer to you. So apologies for the unplanned nature of the little video. I hope you find it helpful anyway at making a little project. And then it can tuck into your larger 30 Days of Goddess prayer book if you want, or it could be a gift for a little friend, or it could even be tucked into, a matchbox. Do people even have matchboxes anymore? I don't know, but it could be tucked into something else as a little surprise for someone. So, hope you enjoyed that. Bye-bye.